Recruitment by Robbie Blake after a disappointing home defeat to Cheshunt. Robbie, it was a game you wanted to win, obviously, and a game you needed to win, really, wasn't it? Is that fair to say?
Yeah, obviously, certainly how the season's panning out at the minute, with a team that's just above us in the league, it doesn't matter even they're just above us or the top of the league. When you're at home, you expect to. At this league, I think everybody can beat everybody, and I think you expect to win the game. And it's bitterly disappointing that we haven't. I think anybody who's watched the game, you'd see that we've had so much of the game. But to be fair, we've had so much of the game, but have we really worked their keeper enough? We possibly haven't. But I think it's summing our season up a little bit. Brad makes a great run. It's inside of the post, comes out, and I think it's their next attack. The ball goes wide from a throw-in, and the ball ends up in the back of the net. Well, the team has done nothing to create the chance. It's from our sloppy play yet again, and it's just individual errors again that are costing us. And you sort of get a little bit bored with saying the same thing out in interviews, because we've tried. I think we've tried a lot in the second half. To be fair, I think the boys, when they went 2-0 down from a disappointing goal again, we showed great determination to try and get back in it. We scored a really good goal, and there was only one team. No disrespect to them, there was only one team that was looking to play on the front foot, and I think we did that. But I think still we didn't work their goalkeeper enough in the areas we got, and that's something that we need to work on, because our final third play is still lacking a little bit. But listen, I think there's still positives to take from it, is that the lads tried their hardest, and until we cut the individual errors and mistakes out, it's always going to be difficult, because you can make one error and hopefully your keeper saves it or they miss, but unfortunately we're making error after error and it's ended up in the back of the net. So as deflating it is, we've got to see the positives, and I hope the supporters see the positives, that it wasn't a team that was not trying. We were trying till the end. We tried to get the equaliser, but it wasn't to be.
You've mentioned individual errors, and that's been a theme you've talked after almost every game about those, and you're obviously preaching that to the players in between games. What more can you do to get rid of those and to stop those happening? Once we turn the air out of it.
Yeah, sorry, Steve. The problem is individual errors are happening too much, and eventually, Jack spoke about it on Saturday. We have to try and do something about it, whether that's persevering with the players that are doing it, or whether we must make changes in them certain areas to stop us doing that. And that's something that we want to address. But what you've got to understand as well, Steve, I know we keep saying it, but we are a young team, and unfortunately we're learning the hardest part at the minute, and that's these individual errors that were costing us, and it's just, for me, I mean, I don't mean this disrespectful, because it's happened, but if you reversed it and you put our front line against the way our back four at times has defended, I think you'd find that we wouldn't be sat in second or third from bottom. I think you'd think that we'd possibly top of the league, or certainly in the top three. And that's not me trying to be disrespectful to the players.
No.
It's just the fact that we've seen them goals go in, and we've seen at certain times the individual errors we've made. And I don't mean that's to sound disrespectful. What I'm trying to say is that we need to eradicate these errors. For us to have there's still time to have a successful season. I don't care what anyone thinks. We're 7 games in. Are we in a bit of trouble at the minute? Of course we are. But it's up to me and Jack and the players to turn it around, and that's the only people. Listen, the supporters who come and voice their opinions, and we welcome that. We also what we need them to do is stay with us and support the team, and I think they did that second half, and I think they're seeing the energy we had, but like you say, we just haven't done enough to work the keeper at the end.
How much of it now is down to confidence? Is that an issue that's sort of crept in because of the results? Is that affecting the performance as well, the confidence of the players and the team as a whole?
Yeah, I think inevitably, it doesn't matter what level you play at, Steve, if you keep committing errors, your confidence zaps. It does, whether you're doing it yourself or as a team, because you see it, here we go again, another goal that's nothing. And it does. Goals, it's like when you score a goal as a centre forward or a player, you get that extra 10 or 15% spark. And when you can keep conceding goals all the time, it affects you in a negative way. And You know, that's what I said. We've got some young players, and we've got to learn pretty quick, because you know we're not learning after 7 games in at the minute. Listen, we've had flashes of really good play against Wingate. You know, we were outstanding in the second half. First half we weren't particularly great, but we showed real quality in the second half. And although we had played against lesser opposition against Sittingbourne, we showed that, you know, we are a threat going forward and we can score good goals. And that we've showed glimpses of being really good this season. But like I've said, when you commit the individual errors and the goals we're conceding, it really does, you know, it saps the life out of me. I can't speak for Jack, but it saps the life out of me, you know, being on the touchline. So I'd imagine as the players, it must be the same for them.
Jack, you're with us as well. What's your take on it? You echo a lot of what Robbie has said there, I'd imagine.
I think we both sing
things
off
came
the
off
same
again.
hymn sheet. The one thing as a manager and a coach is you ask for the players to give their maximum effort, and I don't think there was anybody let us down in giving maximum effort today, so that's not a problem. Obviously we got 1 or 2 players that, due to their age, they'll make mistakes. If you have a young team, they will be inconsistent, and it will be a struggle at times. But it has come to the time now, because of the way football is. It'd be lovely if we had a reserve team where you could play players in, but we haven't. This is our first team, and we can't keep losing games of football with the mistakes we're making. And we need, over the next month, to make a concerted effort to get some bodies in. That comes with problems. It's not as easy. We realise the areas where we need to strengthen, and we will do everything in our power to, because I think at the moment, if we keep playing the same squad we got at the moment, we will be in a relegation battle. There is no doubt about that. You know, you've got to face up to it. And the good thing is it's come early. That is one of the good things, it's come early, because with no disrespect to Cheshunt, because I thought one of the best things was a player that looked very good went off injured, and some of their substitutes didn't look in the best condition for football. And if we can't win games against them at home, then we have got a bit of a problem on our hands. And but I was pleased with the effort the lads put in. There was no way the effort they put in was exceptional, really. But unfortunately, the person that you have to work the most, the goalkeeper, didn't have to do, and it was just that final thing. And I think, you know, what summed it up is, we all know 8 goals lift people. If Dan or Brad first up at the inside of the post?
Brad.
Was it Brad? You know, if that goes in, you've got a totally different game on your hands. We're at home. They got to push out. One of their weaknesses was lack of pace at the back. They could sit in all day. Because they get in front, they can just sit in there. If we go 1 up, they've got to come out. And if they come out, then it gives you more chances to have a go at their goal. But, you know, so I'm overall very disappointed with the result. Pleased with the effort. But the actual starting 11 today would keep us in a relegation battle if we keep doing so. As a club, they've been informed, the players, we need to sign 2, 3 players in positions to put pressure on the people that think they're a fixture, and to improve the defending areas we've got. And it won't be easy, but that's our aim over the next 4 weeks. The difficulty with the FA Cup, of course, is people get cup tied, and it's difficult to bring people in at this moment because we've got to play in the cup. So we'll try and get through that and see where we go. But yeah, it's been a very disappointing evening because Cheshunt are not they're like most teams in the league. I'm not surprised if we beat them, and I'm not surprised if we lose to them. And we've got to change that to a point of view where to score a goal against us, you have to work hard, and teams aren't having to work very hard to score goals against us. We're very fragile defensively.
Regarding the strength of the squad, you did appear over the summer to be getting quite a strong squad together. You were signing people like Dan Smith, you were getting Bradley back, you were tying down some players from last season, but it hasn't quite worked out into that strong squad sort of being here? Now you've
think
obviously lost
when
a few from the squad you had, haven't you?
Well, the problem is that sometimes, I mean, to say, when we lost on Saturday, the biggest worry for me was losing Jimmy, because he's been our brightest forward. And I think if you'd have added Jimmy tonight out there, he might have given their more ponderous players more problems than what poor Victor did. Even though Victor did his best, I'm not arguing that, but Jimmy would have given us a little bit extra. And the point is, it is only a thin dividing line between success and failure. We couldn't say, sometimes you can come off and you have to say, do you know what, they're so much better than us. But I don't feel that Cheshunt were much better than us. You know, I thought we showed lots more quality in certain areas, and one player could just tip that balance your way. But saying that, we need to, players want to play. And the only way that you can not get them to play is when you can put them on contract and you can pay them the money that they want to go under contract. And that way, when you leave them out, they just can't leave. They have to turn up. And we're not in that position at this moment in time. And also, it's going and finding the players. And if you're bottom of the league, you're not the most attractive place to come to. So it's going to be, and our model has always been young players that we develop, and unfortunately with young players you have to accept they'll be inconsistent. It's a learning curve, and at the moment the young boy from Brighton he's tried his, you know, he's 17 years of age. It's a hard league when a team's not playing with confidence around him, and it's a struggle, but we will keep battling away. We'll keep trying our best, and it's where you've got to be calm. You've got to know where you're looking. You've got to, but if they put that effort in, we can still beat anybody in this league if we put the effort in. But we need to strengthen player-wise, no doubt about that.
Can I just say something as well, Matt? Is I think you've seen glimpses of us having a really good squad in terms of the way we play. You know, the alarming thing is, which is obviously evident so far, is when we score first, we're a different team. And we haven't scored enough goals first at the minute, and that should be right, because if you do go a goal down, you have to deal with disappointment quicker than what we're doing, and we're not doing that. And it looks like at the minute, fortunately, we've got to say it, as soon as we go a goal down, we're getting beat. And as soon as we score first, we win. And that tells you the model of we are. But I think you've seen at Wingate, I don't know whether you were there, Steve, Wingate away, we were so good in the final third, we looked so good as a team. But unfortunately, you say you're assembling a good squad. I think we've got some good players here. But unfortunately, when you're committing the errors that we're committing, it'll seep through every single player. And it doesn't matter, you know, I'm on about top players as well. If you're a top player in any league and you're committing the errors that we're making, it will affect you, whatever position you are. And that's what's happening. We have to score first at the minute. And then you see a team become a team. When we concede, we look like a team that's going to lose.
Jack, there's one other thing I have to put to you, because there's an increasing number of fans saying it. They're saying you look at the number of points you've got from the number of games you've played, on top of the struggles you had at the end of last season and the struggles the season before that. People are saying, would a different manager of the team bring about different results? Is that? Do you think that's a fair question for them to be putting?
I think it's
or for me to be putting?
Yeah, I think that's a very fair question. I can understand that thing. What I would say is, as I said to you the other day, only 2 teams lost less games than us last year. Only 2. That was the team that won the league and the team that got into the playoffs. That was Merstham, and they won 1 less game than us. So our problem last year from being successful was the fact that we had a very good front line, which was Jimmy Mewett, Dan Smith and Bradley Lethbridge. And after February, we never had any of those 3 at some games, or only 1 playing. And we couldn't win games of football, but we defended and we done well. 8 of the 6 regular defenders, including the goalkeeper, we've got 1 left. You cannot lose 5 players of the quality we had and expect to replace them in 5 minutes. It ain't going to happen. And like any good team, you have to build from the back, and you need solid foundations. And at the moment, our foundations are not very solid. And I understand that you're always going to get people say, change the manager, that'll kill. I don't think changing the manager is going to change the ability of the players we've got at the back. What we do need to do is sign some better players. And that's not going to be easy, whoever the manager is, because the problem from our location, and I know people get fed up with me telling them, but I read recently, they were telling me now that Benny Reid, I should have signed him. Haven't paid a lot of money for him and put him on a contract way above the money we could afford. But we did, but at the time we had Calvin Davies playing, and Calvin was playing quite well. And so if they think we're in a situation where we got a Calvin Davies playing for us, we're going to sign another fullback who most probably wouldn't have got in at the time on a lot more money to come. And remember, have to pay £4,000 for him. You know, so let's get the thing in some sort of perspective. The manager's always the easy target. And as I've said to you many times, if the players don't give the manager the effort, then as a manager, you know you've had it. I don't think I've got a problem motivating the players to play to the level that I want. And another thing I'd like to clear up is that Tommy Lee has been excellent for a young lad to come from Step 5 football into Step 3 into a struggling team. He'll make some mistakes, but I am absolutely delighted with him, and he's the sort of player that we have discovered once again and we brought forward. I'm pleased with the forward line. 3 midfield players of Harvey, Tommy and Doug. To be fair, we need another midfield player, so I can leave them out. Because from my opinion at the moment, they feel they do ever so well for me. They've been great servants to the club, the two of them, Harvey and Doug. But they could do with reminding that you've got to work a bit harder to keep the shirt. But defensively, it is a problem. There's 5 different players in there. And, you know, if you speak to the other members, people that come in, they tell you they think Dan Lincoln was the best goalie in the league. Well, you lose the best goalie in the league, you're going to have a problem. And he does live in Reading. So trying to find a replacement is not as easy as people would imagine. And when I say tongue-in-cheek about you tell me, I don't expect our supporters to tell me players that are available. It is a tongue-in-cheek remark. What I'm saying to them is, look around and tell me, where are the players that are within our geographical area, that are within our price budget, that are not playing for Bognor, but are playing for another club and doing really well? Because they're not there. And I'm going to say Worthing have done quite well at the moment. 5, was it? 5 Saturday. I think they've conceded more goals than us.
Yeah, 5 all, isn't it?
You know, they've conceded more goals than us. So, and if you accept I ain't got a clue what I'm doing, and he's also having a problem. And just to put the thing straight, when we talk about Waterville, their wage bill's 4 times bigger than ours. Gosport Borough is twice the size of ours. They go after Portsmouth players. And also, I think they're struggling a little bit as well. And they've got some good players. They took most of Havant's team of last year that done well. And they paid a lot of money for them. But they're still not pulling up trees because that means that they got to settle down. Now me and Robbie have put together a whole new back 4. And it's going to take time. And at the moment, it looks like we're going to have to get some other people in. So that's our main priority at the moment. But I'll be really disturbed if after all the results we'd had this year, we jacked in. But I think the one thing you can see tonight, the players gave their all for the club, and that reflects on the manager and the coach. That's how I see it.
Can I just
go on.
add on to that? From my point of view, if I thought I wasn't good enough or wasn't up for the job, I've always been honest in every interview I've done. always.
Absolutely. I think
And
everybody would agree with that.
This is not me diffusing the situation or shouldering the blame on anybody else. I asked myself this, and I'll ask the supporters it, because obviously the supporters listen. Any other manager was to come in with that same team would have the same outcome, because the simple reason is it's individual errors that are costing us. And it doesn't matter what formation you play, what systems you play, how you want to play, your principles of playing, whether it's long balls or third man running or playing the ball in the right way, playing football. Because eventually, no matter what formation or systems you play, eventually there become a time when you have to defend. And we have come at a time. Well, I'll say this: we don't come under any pressure, and we concede. Before you know it, we're 2-0 down.
Happens a lot.
So I'm not sticking up for Jack. I'm just trying to give you my honest opinion. And I think you can tell in my voice I'm trying to be honest to say, in my opinion, and I've been in football a long time, it's nothing to do with the manager, in my opinion. And that's me being honest. Like I said, I would walk away if I didn't think I had anything to offer and I didn't think I was doing a good enough job, or I wasn't doing a good enough job. And unfortunately, at the minute, I aren't doing a good enough job because of where we are in the league. But I think you've seen we've had 7 games, not one team has dominated us. Not one team. I'm not saying we've dominated every game, because we haven't. But we haven't been dominated in one game, and we've found ourselves 3-0 down at Worthing, 3-0 down at Bishop Stortford, 3-0 down against East Thurrock, 2-0 down against Carl Shelton, and we hadn't come under any pressure. And unfortunately, that's the facts. You can see a team that's trying to go forward, trying to play. They have 2 long balls in the game, and we're down 2-0.
Very difficult to legislate against.
And listen, don't get me wrong, the kid has scored a great goal the second one, he's took it well. But we've got to stop it first. When Brad handballs, he's got to be more switched on, and he's got to try and delay. That's the first thing you do. When you're defending, you must try and delay any situation in the game. And then obviously, he's run off Ben, who's switched off a little bit, he's given too much space, and to be fair, it's a great finish. But we don't come under any pressure. And that is the problem we've got, because we're conceding individual errors. And they know that. And I said to the boys in there after the game, no one can have a go at me to say you're wrong. I said, because the facts are we've lost 4 or 5 games? I think it's 4 or 5 games. 4 games
in a row.
Yeah. And we haven't come under any pressure. So it's individual errors that's costing the team. And I'm being honest. I would honestly walk away if I didn't think I could do a good enough job at this football club. Because you know why? And I'll tell you exactly why. And when I say this, I've got too much respect for this man, and I've got too much respect for the supporters and the football club. And that is genuinely hand on my heart. Because I know if I did leave, I would back myself to get another job somewhere else. I don't want to do that. I want to do my job here. And I know I'm capable with Jack to do the job. But like anything, you need the tools. You only have to look at Man City. That's not giving the gaps. As soon as you lose company and Laporte, they're now talking that you can't win the league. Now I know it's chalk and cheese in terms of ability and errors.
Principles don't change.
The principles
It's the same
don't
idea.
change. It's the same thing.
Yeah.
And that's what I'm trying to get at. We will get there, but like Jack said, it's early on in the season.
Take some steps back to take a step forward.
Exactly. And Jack said, and we've got to be honest. I'm always honest. Jack has spoke to me and said it might even get worse to get better. And that's me being honest. And I always pray and always say that I always be honest in interviews. And that's what I'm trying to say. But I guarantee you, I will give 150% to this football club and this man, and he knows that.
Is that 7 league games today? Was it 7?
Yeah, 7 I think, yeah.
We've lost 5, haven't we?
1-1, drawn 1.
Yeah.
Lost 5.
That's fine.
Yeah.
And as Robbie quite rightly says, in none of those 5 games have we been under the cosh for any period of time. Suddenly they just pop up, and like Saturday, the first 2 goals, I'm not thinking they're going to score here. Suddenly they're in the back of your net. The goal today, it's a throw-in. Suddenly, bang, the bloke's in the middle of your goal, popping it in, and you think. But it is difficult times.
From a throw-in, as a defending team, you should be set to defend better than anybody else because the ball's gone dead. And Jack's got a great way of saying, good players come alive when the ball is out of play. And unfortunately, we haven't got it at the minute. But that becomes with better quality players, more determination to keep a clean sheet. And that's unfortunately what we haven't got at the minute.
quick one to finish. Dulwich Hamlet in the FA Cup next. Probably glad to get away from the league for a day, aren't you? And it's a bit of not like relief, but it's a diversion perhaps, and no real pressure on you because they're expected to win.
No, I work a little bit different. Listen, the FA Cup is the best domestic cup competition in the world, and you always want to be involved in it. And no matter what qualifying rounds, first round, or whatever, you always want to be in the hat. You always want to see that name come out, or you're playing, or always that's that carrot, isn't it, to dangle? Where can we play, and can we get to the official first round, which would be fantastic. But I just want a league game because I know we can be higher in the league. So, but listen, it's going to be a great game for us. We'll have plenty of support there, hopefully. They will have good support. It should be a good footballing game. And listen, we can go there, we can express ourselves, and hopefully, you know, everybody probably in around this area probably think we're going to get beat. And football has a strange way of sorting that out.
Especially
So listen, we go there, we'll try and pick the players up, and you know, we'll go there and hopefully have a good game.
Thank you, Robbie.
Thank you, chaps, and thanks
Thanks a lot.
both for your full and frank answers.
Cheers.
Thank you.